Hi there, Nick here. So many of you are seeking some kind of calmness, stress relief, anxiety relief, and you've maybe heard that meditation is the way to go there. And you're struggling with how to get a meditation practice, do it regularly, and even just sitting up to do the meditation. Maybe you're fidgety. Maybe it's like you just kind of can't just get to this place where you sit down and just go straight into it. So I wanted to offer 7 key moves that I have been trained to do that have really helped me get into my meditation seat. And I think of these postures and these movements as when we arrive in, like, let's say a hotel, like, we don't just go straight to the room, right? We go through the lobby. There's a process to get checked in, and then we can go and relax in our room. I think of these little poses as my moment in the lobby, getting checked in before I go to the actual meditation seat. And so it's a place before we kind of just plop down into meditation that we can really get ourselves prepped. And the goal, if you like, because they're not just like relaxing, stretchy, the goal of our movement here is to open all of the energy lines in the body. So according to yogis, we have 72,000 energy lines in the body that carry an intelligence, that carry a consciousness. And they are grouped around certain, kind of like freeways. There's certain nerve plexuses that we call the chakras. And what we're trying to do with this little sequence that I'm going to show you is to open up all of these channels, because those channels are what helps to soothe us, to calm us, and connect us to beyond the mind. So if you imagine that all of your thoughts, all of your experience, kind of like you're a big bottle, get clogged up. If you were to get a bottle of like water that was all full of like gunk and all that stuff, and I said, how are you going to get this cleaned? You might strategize about, maybe you were going to turn it upside down, right? Maybe that would be the way to do it, is to invert the bottle to get rid of the junk. Maybe you would roll it back and forward to try and get rid of the gunk. Maybe you would shake it up. Maybe you would bend the bottle. So all of these ways that we can move, right? Turning things upside down, bending, rolling, all of those things, moving back and forward, shaking this way, shaking this way. All of these ways to move energy is exactly what we're going to do in this little sequence. So I'll talk you through. I think it's pretty available to everyone, but always, that said, you may be working with an injury, or you may need to modify these. So if that's the case, go ahead, and you can always skip these out. Now, I want to say before we get started that I have been doing this little sequence for over 12 years now, and it is so helpful because I've been doing the same sequence again and again to get to meditation, because it's like my body knows immediately with these repetitive patterns, like, oh, the meditation's coming afterwards. So already half the battle, where my mind's like, oh, I'm going to do meditation, all this kind of stuff, is already out the way. I just start the movements and it's a signal, no, we're doing the meditation next. So even if you don't even get to the meditation, you're already kind of in that place. You're already in the lobby of the hotel by the time you've done these 7 moves. So let's get started. And we're going to start by just coming onto your hands and knees. And because the spine is a place where there's so much of an information highway, and so many of the nadis, the intelligence lines are up here, we want to open this up. So as you breathe in, taking a press of the hands down, press of the chest forward. I like to have my toes tucked because it keeps me active. And then as I exhale, untuck your toes and round your spine. So we're just going to do 2 or 3 of these. You don't need to do a whole ton. Just breathe in, arch your spine. You can imagine what's happening here with the spinal flexion and extension is we're starting to open up the spinal column, the front side and the back side. If you imagine something got stuck, you might be, it's the equivalent of doing this to help break things up. We'll just do one more. And then come back to center. So that's the first movement pattern to help open things up. The second, we take a child's pose. So take the seat back towards the heels, and then we lift up, bringing the hands up towards the ceiling, and come back down to a child's pose. And then inhale up. And again, if you imagine your body like a big bottle with stuck energy, what's happening is you're like turning the bottle upside down and down and up. One more time, breathing in, lifting up, opening the front side of the body, and exhale the back side of the body. So that's movement number 2. So we've worked to kind of crack open the spinal column with the first move. The second, we've kind of done this with the bottle. Now we wanted to take the bottle back and forward, right? So here, we're coming from this place where we've been down. You're going to come forward, kind of sliding forward and into mini cobra and take it back towards your seat. You can also just come straight forward. In fact, sometimes if your back is a little tighter, this is much more gentle. Doing another couple of these and catching the right breath. So breathing in forward and breathing out back. So that's the third of the movements, back and forward. So we've still got some gunk in us. What can we do next is turn ourselves upside down. So taking a downward dog or a headstand or handstand. I'm going to keep it nice and simple for this. Head is down, and you really want to make sure that your head's in line with your ears. So here we've turned everything upside down, and it's important that you relax your teeth in your jaw. Imagine that part of your body is like a stopper. If it's clenching, you're not letting the energy flow out the crown of the head. So make sure that your chin is slightly tucked in, the ears are in line with the biceps. You relax the upper palate and relax your eyes. Think of all of those parts of your body, your mouth and your eyes and even your nose and the breathing being like little sluice gates that you don't want closed, you want open. Taking another 2 breaths here, imagining all of the stagnant energy draining out, including stagnant thoughts. And then you'll take your knees down to the ground and sit back on your heel and just take a moment and allow the flush of the body having been inverted to do its work, right? When we invert something up and then we turn it the other way, the flushing is what happens. So moving on to the 5th thing that I would do before meditation so that I can get the best experience is we want to bend into the sides. So I'm going to take my feet. You can either just have like a Z, or you can actually tuck the foot over the ankle. Now this means that this feels a little bit more grounded. But if it's not available to you, you can just have the legs splayed, or another option is to take a block and sit up. And the same side that your feet are on, so my feet are over to my right side, my hand is going to be down, and I want to float the opposite arm up. Now, this does 2 things. Not only does it kind of open up this whole side body, because we've opened up the front, we've opened up the back. We've taken ourselves forward and back. We've taken ourselves up and down. We've taken ourselves upside down. Here, we're allowing the whole kind of the whole flank of the body to start to open. And I want you to imagine as you're breathing in, like you're taking the energy all the way to the hand, and then breathing out, it's relaxing, coming down. You don't need to actually stroke your arm, but if it feels nice, you can. And the other thing that's happening here is because our head's slightly tilted, we're taking the breath a little bit more actively in through the left nostril, the lunar nostril, the quietening nostril. And it starts to balance the two energy lines, Idam Pingala, that run alongside the spine. Getting those balanced is, again, like half the battle when it comes to our meditation. Maybe closing your eyes, feeling into the left nostril a little bit more, and then come back up. You might notice this side feels a little bit more invigorated. And then you can take your legs around to the opposite side. Tuck your toes over your ankle again, if possible. If not, just Z. Same foot and hand down, and then reaching the opposite arm up and leaning in. Notice if your head's really disconnected, and can you have your ears so that they are in alignment? Think of a smile reaching up to your ears. And then maybe close your eyes. When we hold the arm up, we're helping the ribs to expand slightly. We're stretching the intercostal muscles, the muscles that are between each of the ribs. When the ribs are open, the lungs can have a bit more space, and we can bring in more breath, more prana. Breathing in, again, feeling of coming up, and breathing out, softening back down. And here, the breath is being directed just by the nature of the posture that we're in towards the right nostril. That nostril is the nostril that is associated with doing, with a little bit more activation of the system. Having both really nice and balanced is the key, so that you're able to be peaceful and aware simultaneously. And then come back up. And again, you might feel like a little buzz or a little tingling through that side. So coming into the sixth posture, last couple of things we want to do is to really prep the body so that we can sit upright ideally without any support behind us, but you may, as you're starting to come into a meditation practice, maybe you need to have a chair or a wall, and that's fine. But eventually, we want to be able to be in this place where we're unsupported so that we have a container for the energy to move. Because in the meditation practice that I teach, we're not just passively watching, we're actually moving energy. We're actually asking the energy to kind of come through the body, to cleanse the thoughts, so that you can access your inner intelligence or your intuition, right? In my opinion, meditation should be about getting spiritual guidance, about getting aha moments. So if you're not getting those with your meditation practice, then maybe it's time to switch it up a little bit. In any case, here we go, dandasana, balls of the feet together, legs extended out long. Again, if you have a little bit tightness, you can always place a block underneath the knee. And then you want to think of the shoulders being in line with the pelvis, so you're not leaning forward or slouching back, lengthening up, taking the fingertips out to the side like tent pegs, and think as if there was a string attached to the crown of the head lifting you up. And this is the attitude, this is the feeling, the felt sense that we come into meditation with, that we are at the one time alert and relaxed. So it's like you have a little dial knob, right? One side is super alert, one side is relaxed. You want to get that place right in the middle. So adjust your body from the inside like you would fine tune into a radio station in the old days to get just that sweet spot. And then relax everything. last thing we do, the seventh thing we do, is to come into our meditation seat. I love to use blocks, so my hips are a little bit higher than my knees. And the last posture is to come sukhasana with the legs crossed, and then bringing my hands together. In prayer position, this is a mudra, a hand gesture. Not only does it bring us to a quiet space, it's a signal to ourselves that we're coming into meditation. It's like we've closed the world out of us. And this is just physiologically, when we bring the hands together, it actually quietens the motor sensory cortex around the band of the skull. So bringing the hands together is already, again, it's like you didn't just walk into the lobby, but you actually get your keys. Another thing that is helpful before meditation is just to cast the eyes down, have a little stretch in the back of the neck, and then, like you were falling asleep, just letting your eyelids close down. And all of this is coming from the Ishta lineage, where it's about finding that which resonates with you. It's about finding the teacher that resonates with you. It's about finding the practice that resonates with you. It's about finding subtle energy lines that you can feel. It's about creating a place where you can feel supported enough to become empty. And then when you're ready, you can let your hands rest down. And that would be where we would move into a meditation practice. So I hope this little video and these 7 postures can help you when it comes to getting ready for meditation. You may find that already just doing these, you're very naturally ready just to sit for a few minutes. I recommend using a timer just to keep track of time. If you're interested in doing some meditations from the Ishta lineage, then I recommend signing up to my free online studio. I have the Ishta meditations there. There are some basic asana classes. And if you're interested in working with me in a little bit more detail, then please feel free to go and visit my online studio at beautiful-alchemy.heymarvelous.com. I'll put that into the show notes, and go and check out the other offerings I have, including a lot about Ayurveda, how to keep the body nice and clean, and how to really enjoy co-creating a sense of calm and intuition for your everyday living. Hari Om, Om Tat Sat, Namaste.